Boruto 2 Blue Vortex Chapter 3 has recently been released. Not only did we get to see Boruto showcase one of the most broken jutsu in the entirety of the Naruto verse, it also ended on a cliffhanger showing Boruto communicating with someone using tools that look familiar, and by familiar, I mean tools that have been shown to be used by Kashin Koji. This could be a hint that somewhere along the 3-year time gap within the story, Boruto met up with Kashin Koji and was possibly even trained by him in how to use nature energy, essentially how to use Sage Mode. This doesn't exactly imply that Sasuke Uchiha is dead or he never trained Boruto at some point. It could even imply that Boruto was trained by the both of them and that Chuo formed some sort of group of their own, similar to Sasuke's Taka that he formed when he was with Suigetsu, Jugo and Karin. If Boruto was trained to use Sage Mode by Kashin Koji, this is going to cause a massive problem in the story, cause I don't think that this is a necessary addition to his already extensive arsenal of abilities, even though Boruto learning Sage Mode was teased in ending 12 of the Boruto anime. Apart from the Uzuhiko Rasengan, Boruto has mastered 3 changes in chakra nature: wind style, water style, and lightning style. He has 3 variations of the Rasengan: the vanishing Rasengan that's already giving him a tactical advantage, the high compression Rasengan that's strong enough to crush diamonds, and the normal Rasengan that's even strong enough to cause real damage to his opponent. Lightning style Thunderclap Arrow and wind style Gale Palm, among other jutsu that he incorporates his wind and lightning chakra natures into to execute. Most importantly, he has the Karma Seal. It gives him the ability to create dimensional portals, absorb jutsu and release it with even stronger force, also giving him an amp in his strength, speed, healing capabilities, Momoshiki's massive till beast level chakra reserves, and even allow him to fly. In the manga, Momoshiki's Byakugan was shown to be replacing his damaged eye, and Momoshiki's Byakugan can see into the future. Also, speaking of Momoshiki's abilities, he can also stop time, and according to the data books, he can also create dimensions. Not to mention, on top of everything Boruto gets as Momoshiki's vessel, he also has the Joga, an eye that has properties of almost all the most powerful dojutsu in the Naruto universe. The Jogan can see into other dimensions as well as where dimensional gateways are going to open. He can see chakra pathways and chakra points, the same as a Byakugan. Just like the Sharingan, the Jogan gives Boruto perception capabilities, where he can either anticipate or dodge incoming enemy attacks. Though it's not on par with the Sharingan with how fast it lets him react, it's still one of the things that it can do. It's even been shown to have some clairvoyance ability of the Senrigan, as Boruto was able to see his friends back on Earth and listen in on their conversations all the way from Nua's pocket dimension. Even though a lot of this has been shown in the anime, all things considered, it puts Boruto in a level where, at the age of 12, he can compete with the strongest versions of Naruto and Sasuke before they acquired 6-pass Sage Mode and the Rinnegan. These power creeps within the Boruto story has even led to people accusing the writers of just handing out power to Boruto and Kawaki, power that they never had to work or suffer for. I cannot disagree more with this rhetoric, cause Boruto and Kawaki didn't just get the karma and were automatically the biggest threats to ever exist in the shinobi world. Kawaki had to undergo years of abuse at the hands of Jigen to teach him how to tap into the true power of the Karma Seal, as well as teach him other martial arts or fighting fundamentals. Boruto, on the other hand, didn't even know what the karma was or how it even worked. For the most part of when he had it since Momoshiki implanted it on him, he didn't even know how to activate it, let alone use it in a proper way. He could only use it when Kawaki used his own karma to force his to activate since they resonate, and it still didn't give him full access to the karma's abilities. The biggest impact it had on the karma was only accelerating the extraction of Momoshiki's data. Boruto still got his ass handed to him by Code, who was more experienced with the karma and knew how to tap into its full potential. The Karma Seal is similar to having a tail beast in that way. You have a creature inside of you that has immense power, but you can only fully access that source of power only if that creature lets you, or you fight to gain control of that power and then master how to use it to its full advantage. There's nothing given for free here, and this is something that the Naruto fans who've never read or watched Boruto need to understand and acknowledge. Now that Boruto has a jutsu like the Rasengan Uzuhiko that can manipulate the energy or chakra of the planet's rotation, then reproduce that phenomenon within his enemy, in a way that not only is it in sync with the planet's rotation, it can only be stopped if the planet stops rotating or the jutsu caster puts a stop to the jutsu itself. It basically keeps damaging your internals until you eventually die, or 2 of those aforementioned conditions are met. Now imagine a being that's capable of all that, and then you add Sage Mode on the list. That's going to make the power creep ridiculous, if we're being honest. At the present moment, the Boruto manga is still setting up a possible threat relating to the Ten Tails. Boruto just managed to locate the beast itself, where Code has hidden it, and we don't know what kind of imminent danger he's trying to prevent or contain. This is where the focus should be in terms of Boruto, instead of making him more and more powerful to progress the plot. Boruto is already one of the strongest shinobi to ever exist. What he's capable of now even outshines the greats like Hashirama Senju, Madara Uchiha, and lastly Naruto and Sasuke, who went on to become demigods in power, and Boruto makes them look significantly weaker. The issue isn't that Boruto is stronger than the previous generations. The issue is that Boruto's become so strong that his strength is starting to outshine the plot. It's only going to make him too overpowered than necessary. If this doesn't tell you that the focus needs to shift more on moving the plot forward instead of making him more stronger, then we might as well deem the events of the story as irrelevant. Boruto doesn't need Sage Mode. He has the Karma, which is far more stronger and versatile. He should leave abilities like Sage Mode to Mitsuki, who's a perfect Snake Sage, and Kashin Koji. Plus, Boruto might already be collaborating with Kashin Koji, making it unnecessary for him to have Sage Mode. In fact, I'd argue that Kishimoto needs to focus more on the powers and the abilities of other characters like Sarada Uchiha, whose Mangekyo Sharingan was awakened in the last chapter before the time skip and hasn't been seen since. We need to know whether or not she's learned how to use it and what abilities it has. Kishimoto already has the foundation for creating a female Uchiha with an impressive visual prowess, as we've seen him do this before with Naori Uchiha, who created the Uchiha's Izanami Jutsu, the same jutsu that Itachi used on Kabuto to trap him into an infinite loop where the only way he can escape was through confronting his true self and discovering who he truly is. Even though she was a filler character, Naori Uchiha is one of the Uchiha clan's members that was able to escape the Uchiha's curse of hatred and awaken her Mangekyo Sharingan in a different way. I'd like to believe that Sarada Uchiha is being set up to mirror her path, or even have a Sharingan that works similar to that of Naori Uchiha. Kishimoto already has the inspiration or the foundation for Sarada Uchiha to be one of the greatest female Uchiha in the clan's history. Himawari Uzumaki is another character that was teased to have great hidden power, even though she's only displayed her strength in gag moments like knocking out Naruto and Kurama on the Hokage's inauguration day, and using her Byakugan to save Shukaku and fight bandits on filler episodes. She needs a few manga panels that depict how far she's gotten with knowing how to use her Byakugan and a tiny display of the hidden potential she has with her Byakugan. Boruto was said to have strongly inherited the powers of the Otsutsuki. It wouldn't be wrong to say that Himawari could have inherited them as well. It might be exciting if Himawari's Byakugan was said to have inherited the powers of Kaguya Otsutsuki. She already has ties to the lineage of Kaguya Otsutsuki through her mother Hinata, the Byakugan princess, and her father Naruto, who's a reincarnation of Ashura Otsutsuki. In the fillers, Kaguya's Byakugan was shown to be able to erase her enemies with only a single glare. It's also able to release a strong burst of energy that acts like a barrier with enough force to repel or overwhelm her enemies. It's already been shown in Chapter 1 of Boruto 2 Blue Vortex that Himawari was training with Team 10 during the 3-year time gap. She needs to have this kind of power in order to be able to compete or even defend herself against the current levels of power. Boruto's generation itself needs to be more involved in the plot and not just take on a few clog rhymes even though they are easy for them to handle. They need to have a more significant role where they are furthering the plot and having a bigger impact on the future of Konoha. The story can't just keep revolving around the same figures, Boruto, Code, Kawaki, and the cyborg siblings, only ever showing their power creeps and not focusing more on their impact on the plot. There's nothing wrong with the power creeps in Boruto. Kakashi has already stated that the next generation will always become stronger than the last, and it was expected of Boruto's generation. But Kishimoto needs to make sure that he doesn't focus too much on the rise in their strength and less on their development and its impact on the story's development, to the point that the side cast becomes totally forgotten. Especially when it seems as though Kishimoto is setting up a plot where the rest of the shinobi world will have to prepare themselves for a threat where they have to fight to survive, just like the Forto survived in the 4th Great Ninja War. This plot can also be a great way for the old gen characters to have a final bout and exit the stage in a respectable way, where we can see most of them either die fighting and protecting the next generation, or spectacularly leading the next generation through the Ten Tails threat and showing us how well they've prepared them to carry the baton and be entrusted with the future. I love Boruto as much as the next person, but I won't disregard a few of the flaws that I see with the direction that the writers are taking the story, and I hope that we can get a discussion going about where you as a Boruto or Naruto fan want to see in the story, and what you want to see from Boruto's generation. As for what the threat of the 10 cells could potentially be and how Boruto knew about it, watch the video suggested on the screen and find out what it is.